Good morning, everyone. It is Dungeon Master Mark. Figured I would go ahead and do a video of our next and probably our final battle slash session for the Undermountain campaign. So this is probably going to take 2 sessions to complete all of, because especially the last battle is probably going to be fairly long. So let's give you a little scanned overview here and I'll go through everything. Of course, we got the Juggernaut Titan there. So the party has found enough evidence that they can destroy the Lich. They do have the magical heart that they believe is what's going to give them the ability to physically damage him. Whoever holds that, they have the amulet that they believe is going to protect the user from spells that are directed from the Lich. And one person has the spell book, so they have a pretty good idea of what spells he generally uses. They came up with some plans. They've got some magical items in place, some potions, some trinkets that they believe is going to protect them. So they do finally make their way using the instructions in the one book that they found on how to get to the final lair. Now they don't know about all these different sections. All they know is that there's no map of this particular level. Of course, they make their way through this magical portal. They are immediately assaulted by 2 skeletons that are kind of standing guard, which seems kind of unusual. They figured this would be more heavily guarded. They make their way into this antechamber, and there's 2 large chambers on either end that are well lit, and then there's a metal door on the far side. Each one of these chambers, there is a occultist, which is kind of like a lower level living apprentice. They are Dampiers, so they're kind of living, kind of dead, kind of like vampire kin, but they are necromancers as well. So they are going to be trying to throw some debuffs at the party. And of course, there's these 2 cloud giant skeletons that are animated with these giant scimitars that are going to attack them. So like I said, these should be a fairly challenging combat. If the party falls back into the center, of course they're going to have 2 of these giant creatures on both sides and then spellcasters flinging spells at them. So ideally what they're probably going to have to do, it's kind of a hard decision. I think they're probably going to make the right choice though, is one person's going to kind of try to kite the enemies on one end, and then the rest of the party is going to go to the other end, try to take care of the enemy, and then team up on the other side. When they do that, they will find 2 keys that are going to allow them to access this metal door. Of course, there's another teleporter. Once they teleport into this chamber, of course, down the hallway, it's rather darkly lit, and they see 2 of these very, very large red glowing gemstones. Now, that's actually the gemstones on the front of this massive juggernaut, which is going to come rolling down the hallway within a round. So ideally, the party will probably be right around about 30 foot. And of course, they're going to have 1 round to react while this thing's rolling down at them. And then by the time it comes into view, it'll be steamrolling over top of them. It does have a lot of hit points. It is very, very hard to stop. Obviously, it is basically a giant construct on wheels, or I should say rollers. It does massive damage. I believe they have a elemental earth artifact that may help them destroy this and may prevent it from overrunning them. So we'll have to see how quickly they think on their feet and how well they survive this. They may need to rest, so I will give them that option if they wish to. But after they make it down that way, of course on the back of this there's going to be another gemstone that they recognize, similar to the 1 giant ruby before, that allow them to use the teleportation. And that's going to take them to this chamber. Of course, they see these large double doors. In my game, it's going to have basically an engraving to the Lich Fistandius, which is, of course, a drawback from the old Dragonlance novels. Who is the Lich they've been looking for? Once they open these large metal doors, there's this alarm spell that goes off that basically sounds like a loud gong. These 2 large green negative energy gemstones, which they have seen those before, so they do know it puts off like a negative energy aura. Way above that on this raised dais is the Lich. So he, of course, slowly levitates down. Levitation, of course, is one of his permanent effects he has on. They do recognize these mechanical doors that they're able to turn the levers on to enter. Oddly enough, though, they don't see any guardians right off the bat. There are a couple shadows, like animated shadows, that are within the shadows themselves. It looks like this is mostly his inner lair, though. He doesn't expect enemies in this lair. He has been kind of following some of their progress remotely, but he doesn't expect to be attacked. So they have kind of caught him unaware. Now, I did design him with some contingency spells in place. As the combat progresses, once they get to certain hit point levels, those contingency spells are going to go off, one of which is like a greater teleport / plane shift. So there is a chance on the one level, or I should say the one hit point level, if they don't dispel that, it's going to teleport all of them, including the Lich, to this, it's basically a elemental plane of ice, a chamber that he has used before. And of course, at a different hit point level, there's the chance of them teleporting to the plane of fire, which is basically it's inside of a dormant volcano, very similar to the plane of fire. Very, very hot. Of course, the party, whoever does not have fire protection, is going to immediately be taking damage. Same way in this one, they're going to be taking cold damage, and of course, they're going to suffer some of the effects. And then with the ice, they'll have a chance of slipping, falling, making acrobatics checks. The other one they have, this is actually the first kingdom, or the first place that the Lich actually overthrew, was this ancient dwarven stronghold that they did learn about before. This is actually the throne room of that kingdom, which the Lich was very, very well known for destroying this people of dwarf. So that is one of his places that he set up a contingency spell that it could possibly teleport into there as well. So obviously it's a very large terrain setup for this, a little bit maybe more ornate than I would normally do for, I would see a quicker session. But like I said, I think this is probably going to last 2 sessions. This combat should be fairly challenging, just because I believe those are, I think it's 10 or 11 hit die per skeleton, and then the spellcaster for each one. So the fact that they can possibly fight that, the equivalent of almost 40 hit dies in one combat is a little challenging. The Juggernaut's more one of those things where they're at a severe disadvantage. Like I said, since this is going to be a kind of the end of this campaign session, I wanted something very, very challenging. Not a clean out, not like a TPK, but it's going to be something where they are going to have to think very strategically. I did place this on the end so that when the Juggernaut goes down and actually turn around, they will have a way to get around him somewhat. So it is somewhat tactical. I apologize, there's a little squirrel in my backyard, back deck there, staring through the window at me. He's probably wondering what the hell I'm doing. Now, I did make a wandering monster table for this. It's not actually wandering, I guess, but there's a chance of what particular guards at any time are on duty. So there's going to be a chance of a couple other occultists. You do have a couple of the shadows that are basically, the undead living shadows that are in this area. There's also the chance if he has any zombies or skeletons or anything like that performing like a cleaning task, anything unusual like that that could be in the chamber. So there will be a percentage, basically beginning the combat, at the end of combat, as to what else may be in the chamber besides the Lich itself. And then the Lich combat, I consider this kind of the pinnacle combat for all these series. Obviously, it's going to be very, very difficult. In my notes, he is a 16th level necromancer before he turned into a Lich. So he has a very wide spell base, several contingency spells, and definitely a lot of different tricks up his sleeve and ways that he will try to debuff, whether it's Ray of Sickening, Ray of Exhaustion. Of course, you have like your Horrid Wilting, you have your Innervation, things like that. Since he is fairly intelligent, obviously the fighter / barbarian is going to be who he's going to be going after with Innervation, try to debuff him, and then he was going to try to drain his strength and things of that nature. So definitely an interesting comment. This is just literally a, let's see if I can get in here without knocking everything off, just a little color changing LED I put up on a plexiglass stand underneath the ice. So of course when I I won't have some of these bright lights on. See if I can turn this off a little bit. I've actually got a couple of lights on here in the moment. But you'll see like when the spell effects are going off while they're fighting him. Like I said, it should be kind of interesting. A little visually appealing. But yeah, that should be today's and possibly tomorrow, because I do plan on this probably taking 2 days altogether to take place. And that's really about it. Like I said, this should be the end of this campaign session. This is actually, I believe, day 27 of our quarantine. I was kind of hoping to squeeze this out to 30 days, but the party moved a little quicker on a couple than I thought. But we're still going to play a couple more games, and then we may take a couple days off and start another little low-level session, since my daughter liked the low-level play a little better. She didn't have to memorize so many abilities. But yeah, that's it, everybody. Thank you for watching. We will be doing a live video later today, and then I have a couple other plans for some painting videos and a couple other things to add to the channel as well. And then hopefully, not too much longer, we won't all be on lockdown in our potential states, and we'll be able to actually go out and play some games at game stores and go about our normal lives soon enough. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.